Hey everyone, this is Madam Holland with Luscious Body Potions. I'm going to be showing you today how to make bath bombs with Stardust Micas. I have chose to use blood orange today. See that shimmer in there? That is a bonus of using micas. I also may go ahead and use the orange saffron. I have not decided if I'm going to mix the colors yet. We will see as we go along. I am also scenting the bath bombs today with Bali Mango. Mango sometimes is iffy, but this smells amazing. First things first, make sure your hands are washed and you wear gloves. After so long of working with citric acid, it can start irritating your skin. So it's always best to wear gloves, and it also helps prevent things from getting underneath your fingernails. Now, some people don't want to wear gloves, and that's fine, but the main thing to do is wash your hands. Second, I suggest wearing a mask of some sort. This is pretty light. I prefer a little more heavy duty compared to this. This will prevent you from inhaling all of the dry ingredients. Now, today, I am not using a mask. I have already pre-measured and mixed just my dry ingredients with my fragrance in my bowl to help move things along quicker in the video. Normally, like I said, I do wear a mask. I hate inhaling dusty stuff of anywhere, of any kind. It's just, ugh. So, anyway, let us begin. Again, I am working with Stardust Micas. So, you begin with a cup of baking soda, which, again, I already have in here. I did add a little bit more than a cup due to I know how much I need to make for my specific molds I'm using today to not have any excess left over or maybe just a tiny bit. Of course, we don't want to waste product. Second, you add a half a cup of citric acid. Again, I did a wee bit more to match my overness of the baking soda. Also, I added a little bit of over a fourth of cornstarch. Cornstarch will help be a filler in your bath bomb, along with helping to soften the water. I've also added a few other ingredients that has made my bath bombs, to me, perfect. I can share those at another time, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave those out. I typically do use sea salts and Epsom salts, more so sea salts. I favor pink Himalayan salts. I grind them down to a powder. I start with a cup, and then I grind it down, and it almost becomes like a fourth of a cup. So I keep adding until I have the desired amount, and then I mix in with my dry ingredients. Now, all of my dry ingredients are in our bowl. Everything's clean and ready to go. And before I make another step forward, I want to show you my favorite color that mica has to offer. There's many that I like, but this one I just fell in love with. Oops, sorry about that. Look at that gold. I use this more often than not to paint on black bath bombs and red bath bombs. I think it makes a sexy bomb. I'm just saying. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and add some of the mica to our dry mixture. The upside of mica, one of the upsides, is, as we saw, that beautiful shimmer. You're going to see that shimmer on your bath bomb slightly when it dries. In really good light, you can see it shimmer even more. But when it gets in your bathtub, that's when you see the action of the shimmer. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It will also tint your your bath water a little bit. Now, to get a deep, rich color, you need to use dyes. They are a very concentrated color. Mixing your micas with dyes gives you the benefit of the shimmer. Dyes typically do not have the shimmer like our beautiful micas from Stardust Micas. So I'm starting with 1/4 of a teaspoon. I just sprinkle it in there. And then, let's see if I can get you down just a little further here. Yeah. And then I'm going to swirl, swirl, swirl. And again, this is, hopefully I don't spill that, they're blood orange mica. So, besides my fragrance, I have no other liquid ingredients. First, I'm going to show you the oil I use. It's a sweet almond oil. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon. Make sure that gets in there good. I'm going to give it a little swirl. As you see, things are clumping up. Nothing is activating. There is no water or liquid that will activate my bath bomb mix. So I'm going to mix and rub together. And as you see, our color is starting to appear. You need to use in your bath bombs. Polysorbate 80. You use an equal part to the amount of oil that you're using. Now, this is an emulsifier, can be used in soaps, liquid soaps, lotions, all kinds of stuff. We are using it in our bath bombs to not only give our bath bomb a nice, fun foaming reaction, but as well to help prevent any mica colorant sticking to the tub. I've not had any issues with it before. Stardust Mica is very easy to use. But of course we want to take caution, and you need to use polysorbate with your micas. Now, I don't want to get out of a bath and be like, oh crap, I've got to wash out my bathtub. But it is important to go ahead and let your customers know to rinse out their tub when they are done, and to go ahead and let them know that if there's any gunk on their bathtub, like soap scum or just, gunk in general, to let them know that colorant can stick to it, but it does come off. I make sure I give a card on how to use your bath bomb with every purchase. So I explain, how to unwrap it, how to use it, and the cautions, and, if you have allergies and such like that. And make sure that you're labeling with, keep out of reach of children. Do not ingest. I know that sounds silly, but there's even been adults who, I don't know why, but decide to try a bath bomb in their mouth. Okay, so my color is not where I want it yet. So I'm going to do 1/2 of a teaspoon. Now, I'm going to add just a wee bit more oil, about 1/2 of a tablespoon. And then again, my polysorbate, because I added oil, the half tablespoon. So I'll do about a half tablespoon like the other. And then you saw that I added more mica. We are not allowed, boo, again, to use greens or blues. There is chromium green and, let's see, the ultramarine blues. They worry about getting around mucous membranes. And certain blues, I learned this the hard way, years ago. It was funny. I was making my bath bombs. They were dried, and I decided I wanted to paint with a mica, not this blue, because I didn't have it at the time. And I started smelling this horrific smell. Well, it made like a sulfur smell. So I jokingly say to people that if they want to make an enemy a bath bomb, to let me know. I want to go ahead and see what adding a little bit of the orange saffron does. As you can see, it's a little darker in color. So this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. You see that shimmer? Darn my lighting. Anyway, so I'm going to sprinkle that in. Oh yes, that's really pretty. And I didn't add a whole lot, so I don't need to add any more polysorbate. If you add too much, your bath bomb will kind of just sit and foam out. Sometimes it's really neat. It gives like this halo effect. So here's your bath bomb, and then it just foams out, but your bath bomb doesn't really move around. I've played with it before. Nobody really minds. It's not what I would like to see, but that's okay. To each their own. I also want to go ahead and discuss blooming micas. You don't have to. There's been lots of discussion of, do I or do I not? You do not have to. With dyes and such, you do. It's best, recommended. But with micas, you do not. I, however, have, and I feel like it gives a color a little more richness. I'm going to add just a wee bit more orange saffron. Anywho, I have bloomed also the mica, like when I have a whole bunch of colors for a big order or like doing an event. So I will make, a couple bath bomb batches worth of colorant, which with that, what you do with your color, you mix it with just baking soda. And then you add water until it's mixed really well. I lay it out on a pan to dry, and ever so often, I will come to my pan. Yes, this color is turning out fantastic. I will come to my pan and shift some things around to make sure all of the mixture is getting air and drying out. One thing I forgot to mention as a tip, using a sifter is fantastic when you're adding all of your dry, well, there that goes, when adding all of your dry ingredients. It just helps break it up and makes your stuff more smooth. But since I pre-made stuff, the main part, to help the video go along quicker, I didn't get a chance to show you. But you just put your dry stuff through and give it a nice little shake. I recently found at TJ Maxx assorted sizes of sifters, and they were like $2 to $5. So, I mean, they're fairly cheap in general. Okay, just gonna keep rubbing. So earlier today, I used pink watermelon of Stardust Micas, and I used pink sunset, and make sure I said that right. Sunset pink, I apologize. This color, let's see if I can get you better lighting, is just so darn pretty. I'm not getting the good light, there we go. You have that shimmer. Again, the bonus of using micas is the water shimmer. Mixing it with dyes is fantastic too. So you get a deeper color and you get the shimmer. Painting with micas is fun. You do a mix of rubbing alcohol. You can add a little bit of polysorbate 20 or 80, and then you add your mica in. You want it little liquidy, but not so much to where it's very liquid, to where it's gonna leave an evaporation line on your bath bomb. You can also use micas in airbrushing. Kind of do it the same way that you would do hand painting, except you do use more rubbing alcohol. I highly suggest doing it outside or wearing, like I stated earlier, a heavy-duty face mask. Okay, so I could sit here all day and keep doing this. I like doing this part. It feels good. But here's my color. I hope it is darker than it looks on camera. I mean, it is, sorry. I just can't tell by this camera. Oh, anywho, it smells really good. I'm gonna do a few more drops of fragrance. It's not overwhelming, but a little bit more kick. I'm doing samples for a fashion show. So I want to make sure, it's fashionably scented and fashionably colored. So today I will be showing you different molds that I will be using. One mold is just a sphere, 70 millimeters. I will do a whole one to show how the bath bomb's going to work. I also have a heart, which I'm doing half, and I have a unicorn horn, but I'm doing half. Like I said, again, samples. I'm not going to make full-size bath bombs to hand out for samples, and they're asking for 50 or more. So, here comes the part where you need a binder. As you can see, with just the oils and stuff, it's pretty tight, but you do that and it just falls apart. So we want our mix to be firm, like, making snowballs or sandcastles or what have you. So, some people use witch hazel, some people use rubbing alcohol, and some people use water. I have used everything, and I even did a mixture of water and, rubbing alcohol and witch hazel, water and witch hazel, and I just was not happy with it. I did it for so long, and was researching and talking to people on Facebook groups, which there's some amazing Facebook groups out there. And people were like, you need to use water. Just use water. And of course your first thought is, water activates? Yeah, it does. But using a water bottle, you're not going to activate your bath bomb mix. Now you might get a little sizzle, but you mix quick. So what I do a spray. So you saw how well, probably not. Anyway, I do a spray first over a different area than my mix, because at times it won't come out in the mist. It can come out in and we don't want we want the spray. So I'm testing 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sprays, and then I mix. Mix, mix, mix. And if you see, nope, it's kind of sticking up here. You need to wipe all of that out to mix into your bath bomb mix, because that means it's sticking with the water and it can eventually start activating. With that little bit amount of water, it's not going to hurt it. But we're going to continue to add water to our mix. Yes. Again, I am working with Stardust Micas. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and you can find them on Amazon. Testing the water spray. Gotta do it twice. 1, 2, 3 sprays. Again, I've been using micas for some time, and I love them. I especially love to mix them with dyes to give a richer color and a shimmer, but I love painting with them. It's just so much fun. Again, I am with Luscious Body Potions, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm currently making a website. Super excited about that. And maybe an Etsy. It's a lot of information to put on Etsy. Okay, let's see how our consistency is. Right now, feels like it's good. Well, a little bit more. Why are you angry for? So I have 1.5 tablespoons of sweet almond oil and 1.5 tablespoons of polysorbate. I use sweet almond oil, Sometimes I use sunflower and avocado oil. You can use pretty much any oil that you want. And you can use things like cocoa butter, mango butter, there we go, which I love mango butter. If you use shea butter, I would use something a little more solid, because shea butter is not near as solid as mango and cocoa butter. So your bath bombs may not dry out like you want, and you may have soft bath bombs. I personally have never used shea butter in my mix, but I know some people do, and perhaps one day I will try. Alright, that's pretty good. Kind of want to do another spritz, but it scares me. Yeah, that's good. So again, my binder is water. I use cold filtered water. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and mold our bath bomb. I have a bottom and a top. The bottom of this has the outside edges. Oops! The top has the inner edge. I usually label them, but after so many uses it rubs off. And the reason why I do top and bottom is when I unmold it, the best way to do it is to take the top off, for the ring in the middle won't be as prominent as if you take the bottom off first. So we pack. Pack fairly tight if you want to get a moving bath bomb in your tub. Usually with embeds is what makes your bath bomb swirl even more. But if you have one side heavier than the other, you can get a swirly bath bomb. Now, as you saw with this, I did it lightly. I still packed, but it's not near as tight. Like, there's a difference in the weight. So now we squish and we push down. I love watching that fall out. So I clear around the edges. And I squish together. It's not quite lined up, so let me fix that part. There we go. That's better. Okay. So then let's make sure I have the right side up. All right. I tap, tap, tap. It just kind of shifts things down. I don't know. I've been doing it for so long. It's just kind of habit. So then I squeeze the top off. Maybe. There we go. These are kind of brand new, so they're much tighter than, well, used ones. So now, got a fuzzy there, I'm going to use rubbing alcohol to do a spritz or two on top. And I go up into my spray. Now I'm going to let this sit, and that rubbing alcohol acts as another binder. I don't like using it as the main one. The outside, I do. It starts evaporating and helps your bath bomb harden quicker. Now, like I said, I'm doing samples for a fashion show. So I'm going to be doing what normally is you see that? A 3D bath bomb. But I'm doing one side of the unicorn horn for a sample. I bought this from Morgan's Corner. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook, and I found a couple things of hers from Amazon. As a matter of fact, that was my first purchase from her, was on Amazon, but I typically do it through her Facebook. So if you find Morgan's Corner on Facebook, tell her I sent you. And when you find an image that you like of a mold, all you have to do is put your email and say what size you want or how many you want. And then she sends you an invoice via email, and you wait just a few days. Shipping's really fast. Like, I've never had to wait a week. She's pretty quick. And she makes amazing molds, and she will do custom. I'm not 100% sure on prices. If I remember right, they vary. She's just amazing. Gosh, this smells so good. This is the first time using this scent, Bali Mango. And again, I like mango, but sometimes in a scent, it's just, ugh. But this is not. So as you see, I'm packing pretty tightly. We want to get those swirlies of the horn. I may add a shimmer spray on top of this to make even more shimmer. It's not necessary, but okay. So as you can see, we have a unicorn horn. Yay! Again, I'm going to test. All right. And spray. I'm going to set this down for just a few. Next, I'm going to do a few little hearts. Usually they're put together, but for this particular, event, again, since I'm doing just half for samples. Again, I'm using Blood Orange and Orange Saffron by Stardust Micas. the company, the people that run it, they're so nice. So nice. I've corresponded with them so many times, and we laugh, and we answer questions back and forth, and we even talk about, again, how blue and green can't be used in a bath bomb. But, you know, gotta follow those rules. We don't want somebody getting some body parts upset. Again, when your customers are using their bath bombs, make sure that they rinse out afterwards, just mainly for the oil and whatnot. Okay, so I think I'll do one more shape because my other colors I've been doing that with. So this is a number 2 mold in a bath bomb mold kit that I found on Amazon. Fairly cheap. I'm not a fan of them on a typical basis, but for what I am doing, like I said, for samples, I'm alright with them. I'm having to kind of relearn how to use them. I will be making many more of this color and other colors that I've been working on today to get the amount that I need. I'm pretty excited. Advertisement and hopefully, you know, bring in business and hey, you know, shouting out and doing this for Stardust Micas, helping them out too. So, tap, tap, tap. Lift the edges like so. Oh. So that wasn't packed hard enough and it kind of stuck. So let's do it again. Sort of crush that up. And between all the bath bombs, it's good to check your consistency, add water if you need to, and rub in between your hands to make sure your mix is all the way mixed through. Humidity, as we all know by now, is every bath bomber's worst nightmare. And if your air is too dry, you need to move quickly and or add water. I personally never add more oil because it can dry it out even more. Other people may have success with that. I just find success with adding just sprays of water here and there. Okay. And there we go. Now, beep beep, spray. We're gonna do one because it's little. We're gonna let it sit. Now we're going to unmold our first sphere. Flip. Spray. I'll do one spray for now. Sometimes when they're all sitting, I'll go back and spray over everything. Now, I have a towel that's folded 4 times, so it's pretty thick. And then I put down parchment paper. That will help to make sure your bombs don't get flat on the bottom. Now, if your mixture gets too wet, it will stick. So, this is a little on the moist side, but it's not activating. I don't hear it sizzling or talking to me. I don't know if I touched on it earlier, but if you are going to use essential oils, you need to for sure do your research on what you can and cannot use. There's some that are very, well, they're no-nos for lady bits and stuff. And some are stronger than others. And check the percentages. Some things like lavender and chamomile You can use quite a few drops. They're pretty easy to use, but other things like clary sage, that's one that really needs studied. Let's hope that stays. Yay! So now I'm going to spray. Oh, I have one more to do. That circle edge actually came up pretty good. I'm not a fan, but usually when I flip it, it doesn't look right to me. Oh, yay! Do one spritz. And now I will move you guys over. Orange saffron, blood orange, and then we have sunset pink. These are all made by Stardust Micas. And again, I am Madam Holland with Luscious Body Potions.